Well, hello there, guys, and welcome to some Tank Warfare Tunisia. This is something we haven't played in quite a while, and I definitely want to jump in and take another look. So first things first, I'm going to be advancing into this pocket. It's a tiny pocket of resistance. We don't know, though, if the resistance is tiny as well, and hopefully we're going to send our tanks in and completely crush this area. I am going to go ahead and basically set these guys up for a start. I'm going to keep the tanks back. I'll send a few forward, so I'm going to send, for instance, this guy forward, or this group forward, really, and then I'm going to send all of these guys forward right here. Basically a bunch of armored vehicles that we want to get in there and hopefully take out some enemies, and I will get started. I don't know what to expect here. We're fairly sure that there are enemy units in the location, but we can't be 100% sure until we actually get there, as you can imagine. I'll actually also move up with what I believe to be a Panther, but I'm sure someone will correct me in the actual comments down below. As we always do, guys, we will be back to you when the combat begins. Alright, guys, it looks like we already might be getting some contacts, at least on the left side. It looks like we might be approaching something. I'm pretty sure that our team has come across what looks to be some Americans in the middle of the desert. Yes, absolutely. Look at that. Wow, tremendous fire from our tanks to hit the enemy there. But you could see one of our commandants is actually on fire here. That can't be good for morale. And it looked like Weiss is having his own problems here fighting with the enemy infantry here. So I'm actually going to stop our boys, our SDKFZs, right there because there's some pretty severe fire going on there. I'm not even sure. That could even be artillery. But once again, I'm stopping my boys here. I knew there were going to be enemy reinforcements here, but I didn't realize how many of them. Keep on firing, Weiss. All right, we're getting incredible shots, but of course they've got tanks. We need to target those tanks, or else we will be completely wiped out. At least our tanks will. So I'm actually going to move with Galats, I believe it would be properly pronounced over here, while the rest of our men fight through this nice enemy defense. And of course, their tank just took out another SDKFZ on our side. Keep up the fire, boys. Keep up the fire. Our men are still holding up a fight. I like to see that. But we need to turn even more men towards the enemy. In fact, look at just this unit right here, guys. Unbelievable what this guy's doing. Trying to hold back the enemy or stem the tide. Let's turn that machine gunner around. I'm just going to order him just to go ahead and flip his vehicle around there quickly. Another enemy tank. Got to try and get as many shots as we can on the infantry. Come on now. Could do it, man. No, we can't. He can't do it. However, this tank can. Alright, there we go. Enemy tank already getting hit with a few shots from Galats. Keep it up, Galats. I believe that is a Sherman. Good shooting, boys. Come on. I think he's out. No, he's still going. I'm not even sure Galats has enough to take him out. Might not. There's another hit. These are lighter tanks, if I'm not mistaken. They could even be Pumas. They could, no, they can definitely fire, but I'm not sure their rounds are as big as the other tanks we have here. We are trying to take out that Sherman, and it's not going too well. It's taking us a while. Come on now. Looks like our defensive armor is pretty good too, though. I will be sending these tanks to attack the enemy from the rear. We know, for instance, they've got a lot of units over here. And why not? It looks like our boys have already popped smoke just to make sure the enemy doesn't see us. And out here in the desert, it's really all you've got to cover yourself in many cases. Took a nasty hit there. Another shot by our boys. Good work. And look at that. Another enemy tank directly in front of us. I didn't even spot this guy until just now. Hit him. There we go. I believe that's a Stug. Stug getting a nice little hit there. Almost thought we got detracked, but no, it looks like they're all in front of us. Unbelievable, guys. We are getting some shots over here, too, on the left side, but mostly concerned with what's in front of us. In fact, I'm going to try to go right past the enemy with all of our units so that we can just basically blast them from the side. Let's see how things are going over here for Galets. Not great, I must say. Really not that great. Still got a lot of guys trying to fight it out with the Americans here, though. I'll give them that. Take a look at the enemy infantry positions, because we do have a lot of SDKFCs that continue to fire. And oh, for sure, they took some hits here, man. Enemy infantry is pretty much taking total cover. If I'm not mistaken, yep, they got another smaller tank over there. Come on, boys. It looks like there's one enemy tank down. Make sure I'm not dreaming on that one. But I'm pretty sure one of the Shermans, yep, one of the Shermans is destroyed. Facing us and completely torched, including the crew. But there's more of them. You would never think that this many men could fit onto such a small area of map. When we first started this mission, I bet you guys were like, oh, this is going to be a small one. No way. That's not how it works out here in the desert. Appearances can be very deceiving. So I want to go ahead. I want to make sure that we're catching all of the tanks in our viewfinder here. Come on, boys. Forward. We've got Vita moving in front of everybody. I think we should stop Vita here because he is the leader of quite a lot of tank groups here. We'll just let him fire away with this massive gun. Come on, Vita. Don't be a sore loser, dude. Turn this way. Alright, we're getting hit. I don't know why these guys insist on turning around here. It's a terrible idea. Nasty hit there. Alright, one Sherman down right there. Actually, looks like it wasn't blown up, but the crew has left it. They don't want to deal with that anymore. Nice. We can actually see the shots Wita is getting from all the way back here. That being said, enemy's still getting shots on us too. Don't think they've forgotten about us at all. Come on, boys. A whole enemy tank army. I mean, just unbelievable what you could spot out here in the desert. Might be Patton's guys. We did our best to save the SDKFCs, but you know what? I'll take the loss of the SDKFCs if we can waste all of these enemy tanks. And right now, distance is also a factor. We want to get closer so we can pen the tank. Obviously, if you're farther away from a tank, it's going to be harder to penetrate the armor. It's pretty simple. So we need to get these good shots from back here with these guys if we plan to get a victory here. And so far, our guys are firing quite regularly, but it looks like we're either too far or the shells are basically just bouncing off at that range or bouncing on the enemy frontal armor. Send Vita forward. There we go. There's a nice explosion. Come on, Vita. Same with these boys here. And we can actually see a little fire off there in the background. That is a fire of an enemy tank. I want to focus over here for a sec because the enemy is here too, man. They're everywhere. Okay, boys. Full speed ahead. I could try just an assault, a full-on desert assault. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think we have the power to beat them. Pretty straightforward there. Just we have the power, so we might as well use it. So let's move forward in attack formation. Be firing as we move. And this is sort of like an armored spearhead column. You can see this. I love the way it's set up, and actually it's working pretty damn well. Look at that. Open fire. Come on, boys. Keep it up. Keep it up. Aggressive is important. Aggressivity is very important in these fights. There's Piper. Piper, I believe, is actually a known tank commander. Joachim Piper, yeah. It's not that Piper, I don't think. All right, fire away. Man, we're still hitting them. We're scoring so many hits here. Not enough to kill everybody, though. And that frontal Sherman armor is doing the trick. He is leaking fuel, though. If you guys see that, there's fuel leaking out of the side of the tank. All we're really waiting for is one spark to ignite that massive fuel dump. And it looks like we also took out one of their AT guns. Yeah, that tank is gone. You can see they got out of the tank. Smart move by the crew there, because that fuel was leaking out, and that thing's going to light up like a Roman candle any second. Now, the enemy did ask for a ceasefire, but I'm not accepting a ceasefire with still this many enemies on the field. There's just no way. Nice. Nice. Unbelievable. The amount of firepower we brought to this battle, guys. Just craziness. I will give it to the enemy, though. Great initial strike there on the SDKFZs. Considering the fact that, you know, we do have a huge amount of tanks as well. I'm guessing that's the next best thing they could do is to take out almost every single one of our SDKFZs. And they did a damn good job at it. Wow, look at that. Another enemy Sherman there. Burned up. They better start getting out of their tanks at this point. I still see 2 Shermans on the horizon. One of them is down there. Let's take a look over here. How are things going? Wow, they've got more Shermans behind us. Unbelievable. Let's keep on going, guys. Battle's not over till it's over. So a lot of enemy infantry that got behind our lines. I'm guessing many of them are actually crew members for the enemy tank divisions. Not all of them, of course. But actually, our infantry are also putting up a fight. Trying to hit the stragglers here. Feuer! Ja, das ist gut. Beautiful. Also see some American commanders over there. We can see them because of the flags. And I think we should, it's our duty at least, to take those guys out. Take out the officer class here in North Africa. That's going to be a problem for us. Okay. Wow, so some guys got behind our lines here where Stamberg is. A few of our AT teams. You can see they're firing here at the Americans getting close. One of them is down. Good shooting, boys. Oh, headshot. And he was carrying a Thompson, and I think we actually took some prisoners there. It's a good time to give up. It looks like the enemy is retreating. Definitely retreating, guys. We did not even have to accept that ceasefire. Beautiful. I mean, the battlefield is just a wreck of corpses and, of course, material. We lost plenty of men, too, especially a lot of those SDKFZ teams that trained so damn hard. In fact, there's 8 minutes till the end of the battle. I've never seen a battle that takes this long to wrap up, but we're going for it. The more kills, the better. And we've also got a bunch of mortar and infantry teams here. I don't want to move them up. I don't want to risk getting them killed by the enemy armor, so I'll just keep them focused on the enemy. We'll be firing in this general direction, but we don't want to get too close. That's not something we need to do. Now, Kaltenbrunner, come on, man, you got to get this tank. Allemann. Try and get a rear shot on the tank. Boom. Oh, he sees him. He definitely sees him. There we go. That's a side shot. Keep it up. Keep it up. Another side shot. Another side shot. The enemy's definitely retreating, but I like this. Since they're so totally surrounded, it's actually taking them some time to retreat. There's another hit. Man, this guy has gotten hit so many times. This is like the movie Fury. He just refuses to go down. Boom, another one right in the side. Come on. That thing's dead, finally. Took forever, though, just to kill one tank. He's dead now. And actually, Allermann can turn on this tank as well. You can even fire some anti-tank guns at it. There we go, man. Finally, you can see the crewmen actually running away in panic. And with reason. One of them is actually still fighting. Brave man here. Firing away at this Thompson. And that almost looks like a civilian issue Thompson. It doesn't have a drum mag. But this is pretty standard for a tank crew. To have at least one of these on board. In case you get overrun, it's always good to spray down the enemy with some fire. And I think we'll go ahead and fast forward to the end here. Man, fascinating battle. I definitely want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's been a while since we've done a Graviteam Tactics battle. And even though this is Tank Warfare Tunisia, it's made by the same company. Of course, now they're owned by Strategy First, and just a really cool battle here in the desert. You can see how things change, and right now, of course, there is a sandstorm going on right as the battle is coming to a climax. So it would be almost impossible for the infantry to be out here at any other time, really, during a sandstorm. I mean, the actual, you can't see anything. You can barely breathe. You've got to cover yourself, and I'm not sure we could even go forward in such a battle. So there we go, going down to about 4 minutes. We're still bringing in some shots on this tank, but I think he might be able to survive until the end of the battle. And some enemy infantry units as well. Let's go over here to the main battlefield. And yeah, I expected there to be a few enemy stragglers just kind of hanging around. But most of those white puffs you see, those are actually burning tanks, burning vehicles. SDKFZs, tanks, all sorts of stuff. So you can see, our army was not also saved from the burn. These two guys are part of our forces, and unfortunately, they now become relics of it to the desert here. Look at that. Now it's almost impossible to see. So here is here. Yeah, really not much left of the enemy. We may have pretty much vaporized all their forces. I'm sure a few slipped past us, but man, that was just a vicious meeting there. And guessing that most of them are dead. Most of them. I think we got all the tanks, which certainly the Desert Fox will be quite happy about. But at the loss of a lot of SDKFZs, man, the amount of structures just in the desert here must be incredible. And as you can see, man, we absolutely taught them a lesson. Ottoman survived, but not in his tank, incredibly. So he actually had to ditch the tank, which is a bit sad, if you ask me. It brought the tank up since I was a little boy on a leash from an egg. That's how tanks are born, right? And look at that. Trudging across the desert. Okay, guys, I can't wait to see the casualty count here. It's got to be a victory. I mean, we've taken the entire location. We've destroyed the entire tank army. It has to be a victory. It just has to. And ultimately, we'll see exactly what kind of casualties we're looking at here. So here we go, guys. So the casualties are going to be... All right, it's a draw. Typical Gravity Team tactics. It's definitely a victory, but they're going to call it a draw. As you can see, they lost everything, essentially. And 115 casualties on our side, 82 killed, 33 heavily wounded, 29 wounded. On the enemy side, 76 killed, 67 heavily wounded. Technically, we lost more men in terms of killed, but they have a lot of heavily wounded soldiers. And I'm sure that has to do with the massive amount of firepower we threw down at them, and also a lot of tank shrapnel. I'm sure maybe a tank shell, if it explodes near you, and won't necessarily kill you, but it's going to damage you pretty badly. It's really made to go through other armor. Okay, guys, well, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And, of course, that comment doesn't necessarily bear fruit if it's a high explosive round. You can use that against infantry units. See ya on the next one.